I'll tell you something, Mike. The fact that the Combat Cartel is already up 2-0 in our team competition takes nothing away from this fight.
No, not at all. You know, Donny Rains has been around. I've known him for years. He's been at my gym years ago. Then he left. He's come back, and kid is just as solid a fighter as you get. His submission is tremendous. His stand-up is now getting to be almost as good as his submission. He's an all-around complete fighter, and just he's got a great work ethic. Can't say enough good things about this kid.
5'10", 150 pounds. You see there why he is known as the Sleavehead. He said one day he was in need of a little more room in his shirt, cut the sleeve out, didn't have anywhere to put it, so he left it on his head, and there's the story.
That's fighter's logic there, Tim.
He is ready for this one tonight. You talk about the fans being ready. Listen to this pre-fight interview.
My name's Donny Rains. Everybody pretty much knows me as Sleavehead. I'm fighting Brandon Kiser at the East Center for the UCTC versus Mushin Championships. I think Kiser's a really, really well-rounded fighter on the feet and on the ground, but I think, this is my opinion, I think I'm going to be a little bit too much for him. Coming punching at him, he gets really timid. I don't know, maybe that'll work to my benefit if I come out real aggressive. We'll have to see.
This is what's great about this matchup. It's not often that you get some of our fighters in here who will tell you they have specifically trained for their opponent. Both of these guys said this tonight.
Well, these guys have both had the eye on the other because they have such high regard for one another. And I said all those great things about Donny Rains, but I cannot say enough good things about Brandon Kiser just as a person. What a respectful individual. What a great guy. I haven't been in the gym and seen how he works, but by reputation, it's phenomenal.
His wife Melissa's already been in the ring tonight. It's Brandon's turn, and she's sitting ringside.
I've seen Donny Rains fight before. I've trained very specifically for this fight. I've trained for his strengths. Me and Donny Rains are both technicians, and I think this fight's going to be determined by the fighter who makes the first mistake. My most challenging fight is always the same. It's the fight with myself. It's fear, doubt, my insecurities. If anybody can overcome that stuff, then you could be a champ in the ring.
Tell you what, I got to change my lingo a little bit. I'm in the habit of saying ringside. Tonight it's cage side for Melissa.
Cage side, baby.
And both Melissa and Brandon have talked about the stress they've had around their house leading up to this event here tonight. So I think they're both going to be relieved that it's over one way or the other.
They said it was the ultimate combat experience at their house the last few weeks. We said all those nice things about them. Now we see them in these tight shorts, and they both look like a couple of, I don't know. Plus divers in Mexico.
Interesting to see how these guys are going to go about it. They both have the skills to fight any way their opponent wants to go, and right now it looks like Donny Rains is trying to get a submission hold here early.
Well, he was able to secure a takedown early on. He's got Brandon Kiser pinned up against the cage, but Kiser's so cagey, I hate to use that term, but he's so good at drawing you into his guard. He's using his legs, getting his legs between the two of you. He hasn't been able to do that just thus far, but boy, he's making things difficult on Donny Rains.
Boy, now look at this choke that Rains has got on him, and he's going to use the cage to his advantage here.
We've given Donny a little heat about using this chokehold because it's such a kind of an anticlimactic submission, but boy, when you got a guy like Brandon Kiser and you find an opportunity to try to throw something on, you go for it, man. And so I wouldn't criticize him at all for trying it here, just because you never know. Brandon Kiser could get you in trouble in a heartbeat if you don't.
Is that what you call the guillotine right there?
Yeah, well, it's kind of a guillotine choke. He had it on. He's got now he reverses positions here, and Brandon Kiser has got Donny Rains in a similar situation.
That's the other thing you'll see from Donny Rains and Brandon, for that matter, as opposed to some guys with much less experience. When they know they aren't yet getting anything out of a hold, they'll release and immediately go to the next thing.
And they've got other things in the well. So many people they're so one-dimensional. These guys can come at you from all angles. Right now you see Brandon Kiser on the bottom, but you know he's so good that I wouldn't really necessarily. He's giving up his back though. Boy, now Donny Rains is sinking in his hooks and he's got his back. He's a little bit high, but it looks like he's got Brandon Kiser in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, he got that rear naked choke locked on there. It didn't look like he was going to be able to do that, as Brandon was doing a good job of keeping his chin down, but
he's still.
Here's another example where he just releases and looks for the next opportunity.
Well, Brandon made that difficult for him. Again, he's so good, but boy, he's in such a precarious position. You never want to give up your back to a guy as skilled as Donny Rains. He's giving up his back, and now that chokehold is in tight.
And he's going to stretch him out. You see him doing the work with his legs along with the arms, and there's the tap just like that.
And Brandon Kiser is going to be so frustrated with himself because he's better than that. He got caught with that. He gave up his back to a guy that you just can't give your back up to. And sometimes when you train with guys that you're so much better than, you give up little things like that, and perhaps that might have been what was going on.
You'll see it on the combat cam too, that normally most of the focus would be on the choke itself, but you'll watch what Range does with his legs to really make this effective.
Oh, he put it on. You see here in your Crush Combat Cam, brought to you by Salt City Jail, where what a great match this was. It was a game of chess where one guy was putting on a hold, wasn't able to quite get it. We'd switch to another. These guys have so much in their arsenal. They can go from one move to the next to the next. And as you mentioned, Donny Raines put on a rear naked choke, and he did it correctly with the feet, with his hooks in. He got that choke on tight, and that was it.
And no amount of experience is going to get you out of that when the mistake was already made. Donnie's got to put the sleeve head on. There we go. Now we can make it official.
You know, Brandon Kiser's so respectful. He's going to stand there patiently, allow him to do that kind of stuff. And boy, I can't say enough about both these guys. What a great fight, and what a great two representatives of the sport.
We're going to have more of the finals coming up next week here on UPN, so make a point to be back with us. This is just part of the action you missed at the East Center. And that also wraps up the team competition for those of you scoring at home. It's the Combat Cartel 3. Mushin, zip.
I guarantee the Mushin will be back, though. When they come back at full strength with Little Bang, there'll be a whole different story, I'm sure, Tim.
Sponsored by American Bush.
Sleavehead's wearing a lot of hardware over here, and I want you to tell the folks what it all is. This one, what is it? This one's the most important one right here because I got it in my hometown, the Ultimate Combat title. I just won this one up in Oregon last weekend. I broke some guy's arm. And this little styrofoam piece of material here is my backyard wrestling belt. The trifecta, Donny Sleavehead Raines, you're the champion. Congratulations. Thanks a lot, Mike.